morning. When Robert asked me to do this, I was trying to think about what I was doing when I was 15, and it's a long time ago now, but I still remember. And the things that interested me when I was 15, 16, 17 actually ended up being the principles and ethics that guided me for the rest of my life. For my generation, we were the generation of Woodstock and hippies and radical music and the Vietnam War and all of that. And so my life focused really from the age of 15, when we were throwing rose petals around the classroom and all sorts of silly things like that. My focus has always been politics, and I went on to do my degree in creative writing, and in creative writing, even then, my focus has been the politics of society. I discovered pretty early on, and you will, most of you are doing English, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, with creative writing, and you will be studying the authors, you know they use symbols a lot in order to get emotion across, or irony, or just a comment on society. Symbols are the fundamentals of writing. So I've grown up using symbols. I still read at least a book a week, so I'm used to absorbing symbols through the written word. When I retired at the age of 60, I decided to extend my creativity from writing and reading and take up art, mainly because my older daughter is an artist and I wanted some sort of input into the way she was thinking at the time. And I discovered very, very quickly that with art, if I had something to say, I didn't have pages and pages and pages to describe it. So the most direct way of describing what I was thinking about and feeling about and trying to convey to people who were looking at what I was producing was to use symbols. And my focus, of course, is still politics. So when I paint, I can't seem to get away from it, whether I'm painting from an exhibition or for an exhibition, or if I'm just painting to get rid of some sort of social angst, something that's upsetting me, or in fact giving me pleasure, I still tend to come at art by using symbols. So I bought this painting, and I did it a long time ago. It was one of the first paintings I did, but the reason I brought it is because there is a very direct connection to your school. You're probably sick and tired of hearing about Julia Gillard, but at the time that she was Prime Minister, she was taking a lot of flack, and as a long-time political activist and feminist, I was taking personal flack myself because I was feeling what was going on in society as a direct reflection on my feminist idea. When she became Prime Minister, for me, that was the culmination of my entire adult life as a feminist. I thought that was one of the best things that could happen. So then she started to take all this flack about the NAPLAN thing. I don't know how you all feel about that these days, but it was very new when she first started. So I painted this painting, and it wasn't for public viewing, and in fact I had to sort of, get it from the back blocks of where I store my paintings, and I've discovered that it's actually chipping and falling off, but it's a very emotional political response So I'll just show you, and then I can go through some of the symbols that I've used. So I hope this interests you. So, and I called it Confiamos en Spiro, in hope we trust. That's what it means. So I've used the Madonna figure as a symbol. It's not a religious symbol in the sense that I've used it. It's a Western art symbol. The Madonna is the mother. So I saw Julia Gillard as the mother of the country that she was Prime Minister of. And that was the first time in the history of this country that we had had a mother figure at such an elevated political position. So she's the Madonna with the halo, and that represents what, in my terms, was political innocence. So in the back, you won't be able to see it, but these are all the headlines from the papers of the day. So that actually really places it in a very specific time frame. There's, I can't even remember what was written there now, but I thought, you know, this was the sort of criticism that she was getting. It was when Tony Abbott was saying ditch the witch and all that sort of stuff as well. So, and the checkerboard is to do with politics, or traditional politics, how it had become a game, a playing field, that it, because of what was happening, it didn't have any real significance to me anymore. It seemed to me that there were people out there who were just treating the country and the people in the country as their own political pawns and their political playthings and toys, that it wasn't serious anymore. So I've used that there. The other thing I've tried to do here, it's not a very good painting, so don't get carried away by the fact that, you know, it's doesn't look very impressive. It's one of the first paintings I did. So I've tried to make it look like ash charcoal, so that the press is actually, what's being said in the paper has been burnt to ashes. So the blue I have used here, and that's significant because that is the colour of the Madonna, and I have read that the blue was used for Madonna figures because it was the most expensive dye or colour pigment to create early on, and so that's why they chose blue for the Madonna figures, because that was the most precious colour. So I've used blue there. I've used the pale green for her, or the gelati green as I call it, for her ecological or green credentials. I was not completely blind. She was not a goddess. There were things that I found not consistent with some of the ideals that I stood for. So in terms of Gillard's green politics, I thought she was a bit on the pale side. She didn't actually pursue the environment and the problems created by the climate change to the degree that she should have. So I've made that quite a pale gelati green. I'm actually remembering this from when I was doing the painting, so I haven't this is not a post-interpretation. This is actually what I was thinking about as I was creating the work.